I'm Cole Fowler.
And I'm Grace Pastine. We've been curious about what happens when you start to step back from the screens that shape so much of our daily lives.
In a city built on technological innovation, more and more people are starting to question their relationship to it. A recent Harris poll found that nearly 70% of folks age 18 to 79 wish it was easier to unplug.
We've been noticing this emerging shift towards digital minimalism, an intentional approach to technology that treats it as a tool, not a distraction.
It's about loosening its grip and rethinking what it means to connect in a world where so much of it happens behind a screen.
So Cole and I set out in search of ways to tread an increasingly digital world without sinking.
Tucked away in the heart of Hayes Valley, the epicenter of San Francisco's AI boom, is an underground commons space aptly named SF Commons.
There's no devices, there's no electronics, maybe outside of your recorder.
Every other Sunday, Sasa Josephs hosts Unplug and Play, a device-free hangout collective meant to foster a shared culture of intentional tech use through low-stimulation analog activities.
Kind of step over here, do your own thing at any point. You're also welcome to kind of move around a little bit as you like, whatever's striking you at the moment. So yeah, I think that's sort of a foundation here to get started.
I noticed that there were not many spaces where I could go that were completely analog, where you could walk into a room and not see a single person connected or attached to some sort of device in some sort of way. As soon as I had the realization that this could be something that people want and need, I hit the ground running.
That was a little over a year ago, but with the help of volunteer hosts like Patrick Lindley, the collective has since expanded across the Bay with hangouts in Oakland, Silicon Valley, and even a weekend retreat in the California Redwoods.
Start with a pretty casual icebreaker, just a quick introduction, name. If you like this idea of intentionally putting our phones, our electronic devices out of sight and not even worrying about them for a few hours and connecting with ourselves, connecting with people. The format really lends itself in its pure simplicity to disconnecting in a very healthy way to try to bring balance to a very tech-focused world.
Lindley commutes 90 minutes each way to a small AI startup in Palo Alto during the week. On weekends, he started attending Unplug and Play before volunteering as a host, eager to find a third space to curb his screen addiction alongside like-minded people.
I could pick my best friend and say, hey, let's ditch our phones and hang out, and sometimes that happens and it's beautiful. So to have this opportunity, it's really much easier to really own it.
41-year-old Sophia Iqbal turned to Unplug and Play for a phone-free space to unwind and meet new people.
I think that when we look at our phones, we have a sense of urgency that we feel rushed. I know that I do. So I do feel slowed down in my mind, which is nice when I go to these events.
As a former middle school educator, she's seen firsthand just how much that sense of urgency has the power to interfere with Gen Z and younger people's ability to sit still and stay focused.
The girl that I tutored always wanted to look at her phone because her friends were texting her. And I was just like, I'm just here for an hour or two.
According to the CDC, American teens are clocking in an average of 7 hours of screen time a day. That's over 106 days out of the year. This alarming trend has even reached lawmakers in Sacramento, where Governor Newsom recently signed a bill requiring school districts statewide to adopt a phone-free policy by July 2026. But one private school system in the Bay is already way ahead of the curve.
To counter rising screen time, some schools are adopting alternative learning models that emphasize hands-on education over tech use. Waldorf schools, for example, limit phones and focus on creativity, nature, and face-to-face interactions.
We prefer to start the learning in nature.
That's Lauren Smith, the executive director of the San Francisco Waldorf School.
We like students to have three-dimensional experiences that fully engage their imagination, where they can be acting with full agency on the world around them and experiencing the natural world and the truth that comes with those experiences.
But even in a low-tech environment, that shift doesn't happen overnight. For many students, stepping into a space with fewer digital distractions can feel unfamiliar at first.
It's a bit of a transition, and students would certainly default to having the phone in their hand. But once they've made friendships and once they're used to engaging with their teachers, they're comfortable with that.
Over at the Waldorf Grade School, Director Jamie Lloyd sees digital minimalism not as a barrier, but as a way to build independence.
It's okay for a child to be bored for a moment, because if they're bored for a moment, they're going to seek something out. They'll find a stick, a rock, a toy, whatever it is, and they'll get themselves out of it. And that capacity alone is really important.
In a region driving the future of AI, the push for digital minimalism might seem counterintuitive. But for the base digital minimalist, it's not about rejecting technology, but learning how to live with it.
In classrooms like Waldorf, that means teaching students how to sit with boredom, build focus, and engage with the world without a screen.
For members of Unplug and Play, that balance looks like carving out a few hours a week away from screens and being more intentional with how we use them.
My hope is that people, when they enjoy this, they will feel immediately the benefit of it, and it will continue to contribute to this overall balance between using tech in the digital world and like reverting, so to speak, to the analog role.
So across the bay, it feels like things are shifting, not fully disconnecting, just being more intentional with tech.
So, how can you tread a digital world without sinking?
Maybe you don't have to get out of the water completely.
Eyes open, just a couple of deep breaths, just a deep breathe in through our nose. You exhale.
But you do have to know when to come up for air.
Just one more. There we go.